This next video I'm going to be talking about the inventory inquiry screen. The inventory inquiry screen is one of the most commonly used screens in Rick's Enterprise. It's going to be able to tell you your on-hands, your on-orders, your sales, month-to-date, year-to-date, last year. It'll give you a lot of different information on the SKU. So you'll be able to pull up a particular SKU and see quite a bit of information just on the screen. To get there, you're going to click on Inventory up at the top and Inventory Inquiry. This will then bring you into the Inventory Inquiry screen. The first step is to bring up the SKU that you want to look at for the information. So in the quick lookup, you're going to either type in the SKU number to the right of SKU, or you're going to use the quick lookup to find that SKU. Once you select that SKU, either by typing in the SKU or using the SKU lookup and selecting it, you'll see all of the SKU details in the SKU details box. You'll see the current SKU, the supplier, description, the class, the color, the primary grid, which is the size grid, secondary grid, which is the size grid if there is a secondary grid, when it was last received on, the active cost, the average weighted cost, the active selling price, and when it's available to order until. You can also click on this Modify Cost Prices if you needed to change the costs or the retail prices on this. You'll notice at the top right hand corner I am at store 1, so I do not have to type in the store number to the right of by store. If I was at the top level, it would ask me what store number I want to look at on the screen. Up at the top right we have primary and we have secondary. If you click on the drop down for primary, you have quite a few selections to choose from. You have on hand, in transit, that's if you have multiple stores where you're transferring information back and forth. On order at once, on order future, model quantities, short quantities, max quantities, reorder quantities. We have column only, month to date sales, year to date sales, last year sales, location, selected stores on hand, selected stores in transit, selected stores one row, selected stores summary, selected stores month-to-date sales, selected stores year-to-date sales, and selected stores last year sales. So let's say for this example I'm going to select on hand. Then we also have a secondary selection. If you click on the drop down, you have these options. None, which you're just looking at a primary and you won't be looking at a secondary. On hand, in transit, on order at once, on order future, model quantities, short quantities, max quantities, reorder quantities, month-to-date sales, year-to-date sales, and last year sales. We're going to choose year-to-date sales for this example. So then if I scroll down, I see on hand, which is the primary, in black, so that will show you your on-hand quantities in each size. And then in green for the secondary, we're looking at year-to-date sales. So you'll see in green by quantity for each size what you have year-to-date sales. So you can look at two different things on this SKU on the screen. So since I'm at store 1, it's automatically going to pull up store 1. If I wanted to look at a different store, if I had multiple stores, I can go to the right of by store and put that store number in. And click on the button that says Change the Grid Store/Organizations. And now I'm looking at that information for store 2. Same information, primary is on hand and secondary is year-to-date sales. There's a lot of other neat things that you can look at here. If I click on the drop down, for example, if I wanted to see on hand for all stores, if I have multiple stores, I can just leave the by store blank. Click on Change the Grid Store Organizations. Now I'm looking at everything on hand for all my stores. And it's going to show me the sizes, the quantity in each size, and it shows me store 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and your totals. And then there's if I wanted to see selected store summary, I could choose the selected store summary. Selected store summary will show you what your on hand is, current on order, future on order, month to date sales, year to date sales, and last year's sales for each store for the total quantity. And then you can see things such as selected stores month-to-date sales, where that will show you all of your month-to-date sales for all of the stores. And you'll see that by size. So you would see the total month-to-date sales quantity in each size. And then if you wanted to look at selected stores year-to-date sales, we could select that. And now you see the year-to-date sales for each store, quantities in each size.